So to kick things off in this last segment, I want to jump back to the Aurora Borealis, the Aurora Australis for just a second. Now we do know, when we remember from seeing the Aurora Borealis in videos and etc., photographs, etc., that it has a greenish tinge, quite a strong greenish tinge about it, branching into a sort of like turquoise. Now, what that is yellow and blue make up green. So what you're looking at is blended colors of a magnetic refractored line in the Aurora Borealis. And I explained earlier in the video how the Aurora Borealis is created or generated by our Earth, and one of those, this is out of proportion, of course, how one of those lines from our sun have a tendency, say this is our sun, and this is a south magnetic line, and this might be Australia here on the other. So what happens is, in the late evening, that the sun's line warps, it bends, it curves, and it blends some of the magnetic energy of the 7 colors. Maybe the colors in the center of the line of the magnetic spectrum, maybe those center colors are the ones that are curving and blending the yellow and purple together to give you a sort of a turquoise color of the Aurora Borealis. And blending is the main thing, and the magnetic line wobbling and curving and carrying on. That's the Aurora Borealis, what we see. Now, so what I want to tell you is, now that we understand that I've jumped back and used that word blending of colors, blending of magnetic energy to create the Aurora Borealis in that greeny turquoise color, I want to point out one very important fact, is that sometimes when we see a very bad storm, and in America they call the tornadoes storms, before a tornado hits, we sometimes see a very greeny, turquoisey type color. Here in Australia, a couple of decades ago, somebody showed me a photograph of a very bad storm approaching their house here in Brisbane. It was actually East Brisbane that they showed me that photograph. And there was a very distinct green line at the front of that storm. That storm, I think, photograph was taken maybe 40 years ago. How long ago is really irrelevant, but a lot of storms here in Australia. They showed one on TV. It was a very bad storm just the other day. How some of those really bad storms, you know you're in trouble when there's a green sky. You know you're in for hail when there's a green sky. So let me tell you that green line that is at the front of storms is actually a magnetic line that is bending somewhat or blending somewhat to produce that greeny turquoise. Now, it's as simple as that. I'm trying to think how I can emphasize more on that, but that's how simple it is. I'm telling you that. Oh, okay. So I did mention that my brother taught me that in the early days, in my early youth, he taught me when he was an apprentice air conditioner mechanic, he taught me that just before the sun comes up, there's the refrigeration effect. Now, the refrigeration effect is somehow causes a drop in temperature due to a vacuum created in some way. So that's what my brother taught me years ago. Now, that green that we see, that green line-ish thing we see at the beginning of storms, at the front of storms, And I just saw something on YouTube where a chap said that greeny turquoise is very prominent in the center of hurricanes. So I describe in the book how the hurricanes are caused by magnetic lines, eddy currents. So what I'm telling you is that somehow that green magnetic line, somehow that causes a vacuum which creates the storm behind it. So the line, the magnetic line that's causing that vacuum, that sudden drop in temperature, which is what a vacuum does, somehow that magnetic line has mechanical properties. So the question comes up, of course, about magnetic lines having mechanical properties. So here's a simple diagrammic form now. I'm going to show you, I spoke earlier how I'm going to show you a magnet under a piece of paper here on the wall soon, the magnet behind the piece of paper, and I'm going to sprinkle iron filings on it and show you the magnetic lines. But I've already showed you photographs, actual photographs of those magnetic lines already. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how moving a stronger magnet into the field will move those magnetic lines. Well, that's mechanical properties. Magnetic lines have mechanical properties. I mean physical, mechanical properties about them. So now what I'm talking about is when we move a stronger magnet into the field of magnetic lines, those iron filings, the iron filings will deflect, they'll move. So magnetic lines have mechanical properties about them. And when that magnetic line is at the front of a storm, it has mechanical properties to cause a vacuum behind it, or a pressure system of some kind behind it. And that green line at the beginning of storms, that's a blended magnetic energy. Simple as that, folks. So, of course, I'll have a listen back to this video after I put it up as the final portion of the video at the moment. Rainbows are magnetic, and I'll see some things. But what happened was, after making this video in the last couple of weeks in segments, I saw a storm a couple of days ago with the green line in front of it. It's a green line, folks, and it's a part of, it's a relation to AUSTRALIS, or happening here in Australia, it's a relation to AUSTRALIS. There it is. It's as simple as that. Magnetic energy bringing those storms in, causing those storms. Oh, okay. There's one last subject I should have said right in the beginning of this, is that in my book, I describe how I was standing at the one of the Gold Coast canals one day, and I was standing on the bank of the Gold Coast canal, and I saw a sandbank coming out of the storm water drain that I was standing on, and this sandbank that came out of the storm water drain headed out to sea. So I'll just draw a canal very roughly here, and I'll put an arrow going OS out to sea, and this as an incoming inward tide, so to speak. So what happened was, I saw this sandbank coming out of the storm water drain and heading out to sea. So what that told me was that it rains more, the storm water drain having all dirt and muck coming out of it, it rains more on the outgoing tide, which is when the moon has passed. Now what happens is, I saw from the tide book that the moon passes about 2 hours prior to getting storms. It storms more after the moon has passed us. So those mechanical properties about magnetics, the moon is the thing that causes tides, etc. The moon is also the thing that causes the storms, and other planets passing by our planet cause bigger storms. So what I'm saying is that green line at the front of the storm passing by is somehow causing a blended color initially, that greeny turquoise, And when we see greeny turquoise in a storm, we know we're in for hail. And so that hail is caused by the magnetic line creating some sort of vacuum by a lower or higher pressure system before or aft the green magnetic line. It's related to aurora borealis. It's a blended color of magnetic energy. That again is your lot for the week. We'll see you again soon, hey?